What's up? What's up? What's up to everybody out there in the world? Welcome to another edition of the Man Experience. I am the host with the most, Mr. Desmond Mosman. I got my brothers back with me. Fellas, say hi.
Hey,
What up?
Love it. Man, we've been on hiatus for quite a while, and it's been a crazy year or so since the last time we filmed an episode. So today I kind of want, first and foremost, the fellas to kind of give us an update about where they are in their lives, what positive things have maybe happened in the last year, or just something special that each one of us wants to maybe share with our adoring audience, who I know has missed our beautiful faces and our wonderful voices. So I don't know who wants to start first, but I know my brothers, each one of them has some wonderful things that they want to share. So whoever wants to kick it off, feel free to kick it off.
Go ahead.
Everybody gets shy at that point.
well, I've been doing all right. As I said, I've been doing good. Life has been good. It has its normal up and downs. But I've been, with God's grace, I've been making it. Through and through. I will say the one positive thing is I do theater, and right now we just finished a successful theater run here in Lynchburg with 3 successful sold-out shows, and we're about to hit the road here in a few weeks, about 2 or 3 weeks, going to Roanoke, and that begins the 7-day tour of what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing a 7-city tour. So that's going to be going on till probably the end of November. So that's going to keep me real busy in the next few weeks. So just getting prepared for that. So that's my big news.
That's great.
Congratulations.
And remind everybody that's the show about It Wasn't a Catch, right? With Dez Bryant. You played Dez.
Oh,
And everybody was a catch.
Wow. Already. And
a whole month before the preseason even starts.
the season hasn't even started yet, and he's throwing shade.
With the mess, with the
And by the way,
Oh.
he did catch.
We're not going to get in that. I'm not going to fall into the trap. I want to hear the positivity. Keep it going.
You're right. I apologize. No, that's great. I love theater. Before COVID derailed everything, I know I was mentioned on this podcast before that I was going to start doing new things, and Desmond had invited me to try out for, I think it was a student play or production that I was really looking forward to. And, COVID put a damper on that.
It did, man. I was excited for that. I was excited for that opportunity for you, my brother, because I was like, it's going to be fun, right?
Yeah,
Like this is, and I think Jamon even auditioned for that, if I'm not mistaken.
What was it?
It was a student play at the University of Lynchburg. I think you may have auditioned for it. I can't quite remember, but it was right around the time COVID hit. Nando came out and they were gonna give him the part, and then COVID hit, and they weren't able to do anything with the production.
So right now,
But not.
I'll give you a link to the people that I'm working with now, and they have an open door always that you can audition and come on for other plays, and I'll let you know. I'll give you that information, man, and you can audition, man, and hopefully join me on the road.
I would love to. Me and my wife are. Here's my positive thing. Me and my wife are trying to find some new activities, so to speak. Desmond, we spoke about this a little bit last night. As our kids are getting older and they don't want anything to do with us, it's been pretty boring recently. And what's really noticed it this summer, right? We went from 4 to basically 2, and the 2 are one's 9 and one's 14. And so they basically have their own lives, and we're just sitting around like, what do we do now? And so I've been thinking about different classes we could do. Yeah, already. So I was thinking maybe acting class or just trying out plays, like stuff like that. Just trying different things. Maybe taking a foreign language and just throwing some ideas out there. So it's good.
Unless you and I get into fencing. Let's you and I get into some fencing.
I would love it.
Let me find one. I want to do fencing so bad. So let me find one, and I'll see what we can coordinate that.
Gotta be a pretty high fence, though.
Huh?
Gotta be a pretty high fence, though.
Jamal, ain't nobody paying you no attention.
I've got a online friend that I play games with every now and then when I find the time, and his daughter has gotten into fencing, and he used to fence at a collegiate level, and he said that his daughter just has now trashed him so many times.
Well, I know there are a couple of classes here in the city of Lynchburg, I think, that they do. So if I find something, I'll definitely keep you posted. Yeah. In addition to that, I would love for us to, Jamal's not going to go, but I feel like you would. I would love for us to maybe go whitewater rafting. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. Blake, stop shaking your head, man. Got to live dangerously sometimes.
I've had other friends mention that, and I'll save it for offline. I'll tell you what Andrea calls it when I mentioned it to her.
I think I already know what it is.
Something tells me that I'm gonna agree with whatever it is that she does.
Right.
Probably
so. I did it once, and
probably so. I'm gonna engage in it once before I leave this earth. I'm gonna do it one time, if nothing else. Listen, I know some people that have done some crazier stuff than that. I've seen people skydive, all that stuff. That stuff I won't do, but I want to whitewater raft, so I'm gonna do it. All right, Blake, what you got?
All right, I got. Let's see what I got.
Got a haircut.
Yeah, I did. Let's see. Moved to a new spot in Alexandria. So both of y'all, if you can recall, have been where I originally was, and it's 1,000% different from where I currently am now. You just have to realize I can't even, I ain't gonna describe, but yeah, we not in the ghetto no more now, though. So we moved on up a little bit. We are loving our new job. It is getting work-life balance. I can't complain. So we've been through some shit for sure, but we are right now. So those are my life.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. All right. So obviously, we've also been on hiatus for quite a long time. That we have missed a lot that's happened in the world. Significant events that have happened and taken place. And I will say, while we've been away, we've still kept our ears to the world, each and every one of us, in some way, shape, or form. I stay in contact with my brothers on a regular, and we're always talking about what's going on in the world. As a matter of fact, I think what has happened in the world and what has happened nationally and what has been going on and taking place every day has prompted us to return at this moment, right? And so what has been the wildest thing, maybe, I think, that each one of you has seen happen in the last year give me your spiel, whether it be politics, whether it be entertainment, whether it be sports. What has been the wildest thing that each of you has seen that has taken place over the course of the last year since the last time that we got together and did a show?
It's so much. It's honestly hard to pick.
I'll start. So, I'm picking something recent that maybe isn't, of the caliber of a Donald Trump election or something of that nature. But I just read yesterday of a gentleman who actually passed away from being sucked into an MRI machine. Apparently, he was going in to get his wife off the table, and he had on a gold chain, and because I guess they didn't tell him to remove that piece of jewelry, he was sucked into the MRI machine, and later passed away. I think they said he had about 4 heart attacks, but later passed away from this incident. And it's been wild to me because, as I was telling Blake today, we literally just watched, and I hate that I'm using this comparison, but we literally just watched, my wife and I, Final Destination Bloodlines, and there is a scene in there in which something of that nature happens. And so it's just blown my mind that something like that has happened to an individual. And I'll leave it at that. Anybody else?
Well, I guess with me, it would be mine is kind of recent too. Just the up and down weather we've been having with the floods, especially in Texas. They're going through a lot right now. I think it's 120 victims and climbing right now still, and they're still looking for people. Lynchburg sent in uh, a group from the fire department, and also God's Pit crew and places like that have been going up there trying to help out. Gleaning for the world, sent some stuff up there, but when you just think about Mother Nature, you just never know. I mean, some places got 10 inches of rain within an hour. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's unreal, and it's you just don't, you never know. I mean, it could happen here. You just don't, you just always got to be prepared, and I mean, well, as much as you can be prepared. But it's I think that's really got to be it. Other things, been going on with politics. I don't know a lot. I don't like talking about politics. A lot of these, you guys know, but you have to, the president with his big beautiful bill that's helping others but hurting a lot more people. Places are shutting down. I used to work for Job Corps a while back, and they're going through it right now. But it's places that you think that would be benefiting, are really hurting. And places here in Lynchburg, libraries are shutting down. Places that are helping, elderly people are shutting down, and it's just like, what can you do? So.
There's a
To
lot.
add to that, the only thing I'll say, because I'm really trying not to politicize the times that I talk and the time that I take during this podcast, is that to me, the biggest surprise is for people who would vote for a bill and then immediately afterwards say they disagreed with it, or they shouldn't have voted for it, or told others that the next step of the process to not vote for it after they voted yes to it. That's something that you would, in my opinion, would see in a satire or a satirical movie, not in real life, especially not in this country.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like in reply to what Nando just said, it was like I was telling you, Desmond, the other day. Just this simple scenario is what's going on right now. Like I said, if I told you that one day from today, a year from now, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. I told you where I'm gonna slap you, how I'm gonna slap you, which way I'm gonna slap you, and then a year later you still show up, and then I slap you. Then you complain about it after. I told you what was gonna happen. So that's the way I look at it. Simple as that.
Well, we'll certainly keep our eyes and ears open to what happens coming November, uh, as we have elections, very important elections coming up in November. The next 2 years, obviously, and we'll see what where we go from there. What I will say to that point, I know that it's certainly a depressing time for a lot of individuals related to what's taking place at the national level. But what I will say that I am always hopeful in seeing is that there exist people who are standing in the gap of fear, people that are standing in the gap of ensuring or trying to ensure some semblance of hope. um and so I commend those people who are fighting the good fight wherever they are, because in a lot of regards you're probably not hearing about them because maybe they're in your local areas, trying to fight the good fight. So that's always what I'm hopeful for, or at least trying to find some positive thing that's going on, is that there exists a lot of wonderful people that I personally come in contact with on a regular basis, that are consistently fighting, and pushing back against some of the things that we see that, as Jamon mentioned, have a tremendous impact on a great deal of people. So um, that's kind of my spin. Um, Certainly don't want to take that whole time to be depressing,
We could go a
because
whole week on those topics.
oh man, we could probably go a couple of months on those topics. But the reality is this show was really started in a time, COVID, where we wanted to provide some sense of encouragement, upliftment, sort of say. And so that's what we're going to do, right? Like, we're going to always come. We might give you some tidbit or some news or some information, but we're also going to try to take your mind off of what is taking place. Today's episode certainly is no different from that, as Fernando was the one that was like, yo, I got the first question. And so we're excited about today's question. And we worked together on the name of this episode. And it's a callback maybe to one of our previous episodes in which we talked about, some of our favorite songs from back in the day. And Nando came up with the title of "Can You Stand the Rain?" And I want to put a spin on it, so I changed the last word and said, well, why don't we call it "Can You Stand the Strain?" And you'll get the reason why we called it that. We'll allow Fernando to pose his question, and then we're going to get in the conversation about what that question is.
Yeah, so my question is basically, in any relationship, not just romantic partners, is it more important for you to keep the peace or to prove that you are right?
Mm.
And I know
And
a
I think
lot of
I posted the question on my Facebook page, and people liked it. People were liking it, but people weren't answering the question. and and maybe because they felt the same way we did. I've had several conversations with each one of you in some capacity about this. Fernando, Jamon, and I yesterday, and Blake and I at various times. And so just curious to see not only what the fellas say, but if you're out there watching us, feel free to chime in and let us know what your response is.
right, because most of the time, and we know most of the time, everyone's going to say keeping the peace. But you think about it like this: there's a meter, right? And how many times you're going to let go of being right, and then once you get to that limit, how far are you willing to take it to show that you were right? Right.
I feel like my answer to this is if I know that I'm right, like I know that I know that I know that I'm right. I got proof, I got facts, I got data, whatever it is that's needed for proof. I have that. I'm a stand. But I will, on the flip side of it, admit, okay, I was wrong, he was right. So it just kind of depends. But like I said, if I know I'm right, yeah, I'm gonna run that. I'm gonna run that until you admit that I'm right. That's me. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
You have a scenario? You don't have to share, but do you have a scenario if you want to share, like a time that's happened?
You gonna have to give
Um,
you gonna have to give me a minute because I didn't know you was gonna be
So
follow up question.
one thing I like to point out, and this is a personal story. I won't give details, but it was me and a close friend and a third party having a conversation. And this is what kind of prompted me a couple of years ago to change my mindset on how I used to be. Because I used to be, nah, if I know I'm right, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what's going on. I'm going to prove that I am right, right? And it was a bad way to be because it's not conducive to like healthy relationships, right? But I'm sidetracking. So what happened was maybe 2 weeks later, uh, my friend and the third party are having a conversation about that conversation that I was a part of. And my friend was wrong in what the conversation entailed, the details of it, because I remember exactly what the conversation was. And as they're arguing, he's just adamant, 100% adamant that he was right. And I'm like that sometimes. I was like, and I know he's wrong. That means there's times where I've been like this, where I'm adamant that I'm right and that I relied on my perfect memory, and I've been wrong. And so it kind of changed the way I looked at things, especially in my relationship with my wife, because I can be hard headed and really wanting to prove that I'm right when I feel like I am. And and when I say keep the peace, I don't mean like just be a doormat and let people walk all over you. But there are times when you're just like, you know what, it's not in the grand scheme of things. Like this will be forgotten tomorrow. But
Pick
if
your
we start, what's that?
You hope.
pick,
You
pick
hope.
your battles.
Right, pick your battles. Yeah, right. Short story long. Just pick your battles, right? And like I wasn't like that before because if you get into an argument there, something that would have been forgotten the next day, now it's stretching out 2 days, 3 days, right? And if you're stubborn and you're not willing to apologize because you still think you're right, just a lot of time wasted in those situations. And I don't mean just with my wife, but just other situations too in friendships that, some of them have passed and we're no longer friends because of situations like that. Right or wrong, that's just how it went. And so I use this because, the old saying, you can't teach a dog old dog new tricks, but I'm proof that you can, right? I think I'm the second oldest of the group. And so, a lot of times I would think that I'm set in my ways, but like you can come to a realization and change. And so that's kind of what prompted this question. There's a lot of things happening in the world where people are dead set on what they believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And maybe it just takes a moment of realization, a moment of self-reflection. And nobody likes to hear they're wrong, right? Who enjoys that, right?
yeah, I
Nobody.
think Blake already made that known.
And and my wife helped me a lot with seeing some of these things. And she's not standing here with like a knife threatening me or anything like that.
Yeah.
I feel she's standing there though.
But you saying that, and you know that this is a good thing though, because you know that she would check you if need be. We all
Right,
do,
right,
so that ain't
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But it's always good to have a person that does that, right?
right.
Like I feel like somebody that truly loves you and truly cares about you, like will kind of call you out on those moments, um, because that to me that's important for growth and development as an individual, right? Like that molding and that coming to a realization that, as Fernando said, like I'm not right about everything, and so now you're giving me a new perspective of maybe how I am or how I come off that maybe I don't want to admit about myself. Um, and it allows me, as Fernando also pointed out, to kind of step out of myself and reflect back, and maybe hopefully grow from that experience. You said something that stuck out to me, and that's something that I've tried to put in my head here lately is how is this going to make me feel tomorrow, right? Like, or to that point, like, is this even going to matter tomorrow? Is this something that tomorrow I'm going to be dwelling on enough that I need to respond to it right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm always in my mind thinking about that, and then I find myself even sometimes reflecting back on the situation and saying, I wanted to call that person out on whatever they said or whatever they did. Um, but the day has passed, and now I'm looking back on it and I'm saying to myself, it doesn't even matter right now. Like like today's a different day, and it doesn't even have the same sting or the same impact or effect on me as it did maybe yesterday. So I definitely get that. Jamon, what do you have to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nando.
No. I was gonna say, just it takes nothing to keep on scrolling past that Facebook post. You know what I mean? Like, instead of stopping and arguing, you know what? I don't care
Engaging.
that much. Yep, just keep on
Yeah,
scrolling.
Yeah,
yeah.
y'all summed it up. Everything for what I had to say. I mean, I'm more of a, as John Cena is, a peacemaker. I'm more of a, I want to, go ahead and just. I don't like a
Ain't he
lot of
fighting in
drama.
that show though?
A lot.
I don't like a lot of drama. I don't like a lot of stuff going on. But I will say, I think if a situation happens and you have drama in a relationship or something like that, you need to take care of it then and there. You don't need to let it fester on into the next day if possible. Sometimes there's some things that keep that from happening, but
If
I think,
possible. Sometimes you gotta let things go a day.
yeah,
Sometimes you
I mean,
gotta
yeah,
allow
I
people to
agree. I agree with that. That's why I say if possible, but
kind of have their space and calm down.
I'm more of a, I mean, at the end of the day, I want you to know that if it's my fault, I want, I'm going to say, I'm going to let you know somehow that it was my fault, and the other way around too. Stand my ground that hey, I was right on this, or you were right on this.
I ain't
I
never
think
heard you
that
say
needs,
that.
huh?
Nothing.
That that needs to take that needs to take you know precedence somehow. But it's but as I said, at the end of the day, that grudge that you're holding just to say, hey, you know what, I was right. I don't really think that's worth it. If you got a healthy relationship, you just need to, you know, at the end, I would say let it go, but just try to keep as much peace in a relationship or friendship or whatever kind of, as possible to just move on because in the long range it could be damaging.
Yeah, it really can. And like, it's not always easy to take that approach too when the other person is adamant that they're right. It's natural to want to defend your position, so to speak, and it's not always easy to just be like, you know what, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Um, sometimes
yeah,
you want to be right, ensure that you're right, especially like in the environment that's been festering over the last 12 years, give or take some. It's the conflict has been so much easier to engage in instead of just moving on.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, it truly depends on the situation. Like I think you both pointed it out that um pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think sometimes it can happen that some people are engaging or wanting to be right and stand on the ground of little minuscule things or what I identify maybe as minuscule. It might not be minuscule to them, um, but maybe what I identify as minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Um, but but there are also opportunities or times where I feel like I have to stand on what it is that I'm saying, especially if it means, you know, maybe really trying to save somebody's life, right? Like if that's a friend and I'm dealing with them from the perspective of they're engaging in some sort of negative behavior or whatever the case may be. And I know I'm doing a hypothetical situation, but this is kind of my perspective of it is in that moment and in that instance, like I feel called to have to stand on what I'm saying is right. But that's not going to be the case for like everyday situations, right? Like for me, I'm not going to be, going in my wife. Well, I told you so. I told you should have cooked that on this. I told you should have done this. It's not going to. It's going to be something I feel that really matters to me in some way. And I guess that's for me how I take it. Um, I know I maybe have hit Blake with that several times. Have I? Oh, you on mute?
I can say, yeah, you may or may
Have I
not.
done that to you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I get everybody's perspective. I get everybody's perspective, and who knows? Maybe as I get older, um, I'll change my mind and want to be more of the peacemaker, like Jamon is. Um,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah, I
you
get.
can you can make peace. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you fine. You fine.
I was just gonna say you can still make peace without compromising your principles and your morals, right? Like
Oh, absolutely.
you don't have to take that stand every time. Um, there are definitely things that you feel strongly about and that might matter to you, but sometimes it's just not worth the argument, especially when you're not going to change anybody's mind, right? Like if I'm just trying to get a fan club, sure, start the argument. How many likes can I get, right? Um, but also you can still keep those morals and just keep the peace at the same time.
Yeah,
Stay, don't again. I want to reiterate, like,
yeah.
don't be a doormat. You can still state your position and how you feel, what you think, but then you can just decline to continue the conversation
Oh,
in a
absolutely.
respectful way, right?
Absolutely. And I think with me, it also stems from, okay, maybe that person wasn't necessarily somebody that I need to have a relationship with anyway. So
Yeah.
so so generally speaking, um, I know you mentioned like scrolling on Facebook. A lot of my Facebook isn't that because I choose not to even partake in that. Right? Like that's first and foremost. So I'm not friends maybe necessarily with somebody that is now, as we would say, a MAGA supporter or whatever the case may be. So I'm not even engaging in those types of conversations. But yeah, absolutely, you're 100%. You can always walk away from anything, still holding your integrity intact. Anything else?
Well said. Well
I,
said.
I this conversation went a lot quicker than I thought it would. To be honest,
I
you
was.
know,
I mean, we still got to come back to Blake because Blake said come back to him in a minute
yeah.
with a
It,
scenario.
and I think like the best thing that could come from this is just personal growth.
Yeah.
Taking that opportunity to grow as a person, and honestly, like if you're a person who likes to argue, it's a good opportunity to practice one of those what's it called, techniques, right? You let someone keep speaking, and they end up, you know, contradicting themselves, or it
Yeah,
gives
we
them
see a
time
lot of
to,
that.
yeah, yeah, and so it gives them time to maybe hear what they're saying, and come to the conclusion. You know what? Maybe I am wrong, right? As they say it out loud. because I'm sure we can all go ahead.
Or in that same token, if you're somebody that likes to argue, maybe you need to think about a career change if you're not a lawyer.
Fair enough. Absolutely. But and even just hearing it out loud is all it takes. I know. I'm sure I'm not the only one who said things in the heat of a moment that they regret. Uh, and so when you hear some of those things that you've said or uh, um, argued about out loud, and you're like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have said that. And so taking that time to just let somebody else have that position, and maybe they'll never come to it, but maybe they will.
Blake, you have a scenario? A time that you can think about that you stood your ground.
I can give you an example while he's thinking. It's really stupid and innocuous, right? One time it was me, Andrew, and the kids, and we were talking about ordering food, and she had said something like, because the website didn't have small, medium, large, it was pizza. It was like 8, 10, 12. And she said 8, 10, 14, something like that, paraphrasing, right? And then I repeated that it's 8, 10, 12, and she's like, that's what I said. I'm like, no, you didn't. And it's like, no, that is what I said, right? And now I'm not saying this because I was right. I don't know who was right at the time, but it snowballed from there into ruining the weekend, right? This happened on a Friday. We're mad at each other Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then finally Sunday night, Monday comes. It's like, look, we got to get back into the swing of things, right? But again, that's one of those situations where it could have been me who was wrong. And instead of letting it go, I'm like, no, I'm going to prove right now that I'm right because I know that's what you
12.
said. Right. You said 8, 10, 14. It's 8, 10, 12.
It's 8, 10, 12. I know it's 8, 10, 12.
Right. And so it's just something small and stupid that ends up just blowing up into something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, because now you've missed out on a whole entire weekend with your wife.
Right. And not only that, when, if you have people, whether it's children or family or friends just staying with you, and now they're feeling awkward because they got to walk on eggshells around you too. You know what I mean?
Well, not only are they feeling awkward, but also this also is an example for them, right? Like they see that, and then in their interactions and dealings possibly with people, that's how they then take it. And so I mean, I think I've posted several times where, maybe not that many, but where Tanisha and I have gotten upset at each other about something, and I've actually went on Facebook and posted like I just lost an entire weekend with my wife over something that could have literally been, handled, or me putting my pride aside, and just going along with the moment. So yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, in a situation like that too, if it's friends or even the kids, and then they're like, "Well, did she say this or that?" And then they take sides, right? And then and it's just
man.
And that was my again another point that is things like this that are like just so innocuous that by the time you realize where it's starting, it's too late, right? That ball is already coming downhill, and you can't push it back the other way.
I feel you there.
So
Jamal, you got a time
to try to get in front of it? Sorry.
Right? Like,
Jamal,
you got a time?
I don't really. I mean, because as I said, to that point, it really never got that far with me. I'm always like, okay, I was wrong. Let's move on. I'm sorry. Even though I wasn't in the wrong, I'm the kind that's like, all right, whatever, man. I'm sorry. If I did wrong, I'm sorry, and I moved on. But I guess my time would maybe be, I'm guessing maybe in an employer, and this is a long time ago, where I guess I was at my employer, and then my supervisor was like, you need to go and do a certain thing, for our 6 o'clock show. And I was like, Well, I did it. It wasn't the way he wanted me to do it, but the task was completed all in the same. And to that time, he thought I was kind of challenging him, like, well, yeah, I did it. It's not the way you want me to do it, but it's done. And that went back and forth, and to the point where he was like, well, if you don't want to do it the way I want to do it, you can walk on out. And that really got to me
Woo!
hardcore. That really got to me hardcore. And the way I handle stuff is I don't blow up in front of other people. If I really get totally mad, I'll walk out and I'll just need a good 5, 10, 15 minutes to myself to just cool down, because you feel your skin getting hot, you feel your blood pressure going up and all that, and you don't want to make anything worse. But I guess with that, I tried to stand my ground, but the other party wasn't having it, and they were just like, no, you stood your ground, but I'm gonna stand my ground, and there's kind of no keeping the peace on this, unless you do what I want to do, unless you do it the way I want to do it. That's the only way we're gonna have peace. Is the way I want to, is the way I want it done. So that was kind of confusing in a way that you're talking about, Fernando, with the whole keeping the peace thing. But in a way, it does fit, because the supervisor didn't want it that way, and for me to keep the peace, I had to go ahead and suck it up and do it the way he wanted it done, just so I can keep the peace and move on.
I feel that.
Which is hard, because you don't want to be a doormat, but you got to be a doormat in that instance. If that makes sense, you gotta be a doormat. It's not like relationship where you can get up and say I'm sorry next day and move on. You're talking about the people, the employer, and give you a paycheck. You don't want to say the wrong thing at the wrong time or the wrong context.
Well, I think there are certain ways that you can handle those situations that don't come off as certainly being a doormat. But that's another conversation.
Well, I think more so he's saying you feel like one, right?
Wait, repeat that. I'm sorry.
I think I correct me if I'm wrong, Jaman, but what I think he's saying is more so you feel like one, even if you're
Right.
not
You feel like
being.
one.
Oh yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is like from the way he kind of handled it, there are plenty of different other ways that you can handle it without even feeling like one. I feel.
Yeah, and
Yeah. You could have. There's a lot of ways you could have handled it differently, but I guess the way I wanted to handle was, once again, the peacemaker. I didn't want it to escalate. I wanted to try to
hindsight's
bring it
always
down.
20/20, right?
Yeah,
Right. And once
absolutely,
again, you got to pick
absolutely.
your battles, as you said before. Pick your battles. Do you want to drag this on until you end up in HR, or do you want to just let it go, even get to that point, and just go on and say, you know what, it's not even worth my breath. Do what you got to do and move on. But go ahead and document.
Did you do that?
Oh yeah. Everything
Okay.
that happens for whatever reason, even on my first, all the jobs I've had, if it doesn't seem right, I'm always, got my little composition book, put the date, time, what happened, even if it wasn't resolved, even if it was resolved,
Yeah.
go ahead and document it. And you may never need that book again, but you always have it should something happen.
You should always protect yourselves in those instances. So
And the
So-
way back then is different. I mean, you didn't have cell phones that can record everything now. You just had pen and paper that to do it that way. Now it's, you can walk into a meeting and the cell phone be in your pocket recording. You just don't know now.
Blake, what you got?
I feel like more so, I can't think of a scenario right now, but more so a follow up question. So I think Nando brought up something about techniques on how to have these kind of conversations. So more so, how do you navigate those conversations when you're dealing with somebody who you know is wrong, but if they don't stand on business that they right, no matter what you say. So how do you even, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's tough too because um, with a certain uh, landscape, there are people that when you prove to them that they are wrong, it only reinforces their belief that they are right. And that's been proven over the last few years with certain things like the QAnon movement, right? Where there's all these facts written down by experts, whatever video, whatever you want to say, indisputable facts, and it's only reinforced their belief in something that's wrong.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there is a way, honestly, when someone is at that level to get through to them. And it's unfortunate, but at times like that, I think that if it's possible, the only thing that you can do for your own mental health is to sever that relationship. Because if someone lays out in front of me, as here's pictures, here's video, here's recordings, here's the paper, here's the receipts showing that I'm wrong, and I still am going to cling on to that I'm right. It's clearly not, right? Everything is right here in front of me. And if the inverse of that, if someone else, I'm doing that and they still think they're right, I don't think there's anything that we can do to salvage this relationship. And if you can, it's not always possible, right? There's coworkers, there's professional relationships that unfortunately you have to endure, that you can't. And in those times, the only technique I can say is just try to minimize the interactions you have with them if possible.
Right.
It's tough because you can't always get away from it.
And I would point out also that not only necessarily based on the fact that there are specific relationships, but oftentimes we as humans even tend to want to hold on to specific people in our lives.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of whatever, like this
Yeah.
person is maybe somebody I grew up with, or this person is a family member, or this person, whatever the case may be. So, I've seen that play out quite a few times where like a person has kind of put it in this person's face, like, and not even necessarily from the scenario of wanting to be right, but the fact that like I don't want you in my life. And this other person was like, well, I don't know why this person doesn't want me in my life. And so sometimes we as humans even have that tendency of just not being able to let go because of whatever.
Yeah. I had a friend, and I'd known them for, 20 years. And it got to a point where they had moved away. We were still Facebook friends. We would text every now and then. We were friends, stayed at my house. I stayed at their house. Like they knew some of my family. I knew some of theirs. Um, when they moved away, it got to a point where, we would just text, and I would comment every now on their Facebook page. And one stretch, it was maybe like 6 months where we were just basically arguing on their Facebook posts, right? They would post some of the most ridiculous things, in my opinion, ridiculous things.
Yeah, you gotta
And I
you
would
gotta
I
you
would
gotta
comment,
do the
right?
air quotes.
It was before I had this epiphany where I just couldn't let things go, right? Like I have to prove that you're wrong. And they said, why are you only speaking to me when you disagree with me? And that was like the light bulb, right? I started thinking about the relationship and the times that, like, even when we were hanging out, like, there was a lot of red flags in our friendship that I let go. And I think the
Yeah,
distance
because
that,
of yeah,
yeah,
because yeah. I grew up with this person. This person
Right,
came
right.
over. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you know what, they're right. Like
Did
I
you?
need
I
to
got I
remove
got a
them.
question for you though, Nando.
Yeah.
Did you look back and at some point come to a realization that you all probably argued more like when y'all were younger? Did that ever occur, or do
Yeah,
you
so
always just remember that it was a positive relationship when y'all were kids?
it was always positive, right? And
Got you.
I didn't meet them until I was in my early 20s, right?
Got you.
And so literally I grew up with them, right? I became a man while friends with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so they went through a lot of they were friends with me through a lot of my life experience that has brought me to who I am today. And so looking back on the relationship, it was all good times until it was a stretch of 3 years where it was just
Yeah.
really um yeah, honest, if I'm being honest, it was just 1 year where they did a few things in my opinion that was real shady almost. And I realized that they're no longer the person that grew up with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point I had to end the relationship. And there's a lot of good times I had with them, and they helped me through a lot of tough times too. And
Yeah.
I cherished the friendship that we had, but I realized at the end of the friendship we were not friends, and I had to
Yeah.
move on.
Jamon, I had a friend like that. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Um,
As soon as he started talking about that, I was like, yeah, I know you're talking about.
yeah, yeah, same situation. But this particular person I actually kind of like grew up with from almost like elementary school.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, some things happen. Yeah, yeah.
Some people
Mm,
aren't capable of growth. Some people aren't capable to step back and criticize themselves. I like to say that, I've had a lot of come to Jesus meetings with myself, looking in the mirror the next day. And that's when I've been able to self analyze and reflect about what I'm doing wrong. Because when it's just you in the mirror, if you can't see the things that you've done wrong, I don't think anybody's going to help you.
Big facts.
hmm Any other comments? Nobody. Well, I wrote a song for this specific episode. Um, and it goes a little something like this. Bear with me. I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but I thought this was appropriate for this moment. Easy days. Everybody loves them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the strain? Pressure comes. Trials will test your name. Will you choose peace or prove your pain?
I like it. I
Ah!
like it. I like it.
I
Very
appreciate you,
good.
brother.
Very
I
I
think
like
good.
it.
Blake turned off the camera because he was over there laughing. Do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. I don't laugh at you when you be singing all the Whitney Houston and Faith Evans and all that stuff. I don't be doing that mess.
I only sang Faith. Do you know what
Huh?
specific song? You know
Well,
what?
Faith, I don't be laughing. I was confident enough to come on this live and sing and share with the world that I can. But I'm a creator. So I created the lyrics. I'll give that to New Edition. They can make a song about it. All right. So, with that being said, we thank you for joining us. We came under an hour on this episode, but we certainly thank you for joining us this episode as our return. Thanks Fernando for that really good question. I think it certainly allows us to think about ourselves, our relationships with each other, but also our relationships on a daily basis with everybody that we come in contact with. So thank you, Nando. Thank you, Blake and Jamon, certainly for being vulnerable and sharing some of your instances of dealing with this. And we thank each and every one of you for joining us, obviously, as you have graciously done so in the past. We look forward to reconnecting with each and every one of you and coming to you, I guess, on a bi-weekly basis or whatever we determine it to be. Anybody want to take on the next question? Blake, Jamon, anybody?
I got an idea. How about the person who gives the question task the next person with the question?
He's gonna popcorn somebody.
Yep.
Y'all remember popcorning?
I don't know if everybody's screen looks the same, but I'm gonna point right this way. This man right here got the next question.
I already knew.
Yeah, look,
Wait, mine
point
wasn't the same. You pointed mine. You were.
Is
Nah, he was put.
my angle correct?
Mine
pointing
probably
at
looks
Blake.
like Jamon's.
Mine looks like me.
All right, Blake.
He pointed at you in yours.
Blake.
Yeah, it looked like he pointed to me in mine.
Nah, mine looked like he pointed in the air
Because
because he's on the end. So mine looked like
I got
he
an
pointed
idea.
like that.
It's
So
Blake.
it's Blake.
from what he says, he is confirming that it's me on the screen. From the way he pointed this
Oh, now I see Blake. That's that way for Blake on me.
down here.
No, well, he confirmed it by saying your name, but I think each one of us has a different visual of where he actually pointed. So that's why I was confused. Jamon said it looked like it pointed at him, and when I saw it, it actually pointed off the screen. So, so I was like, "Oh,
You
Huh?
are the left. My left on my screen. Jamon is my right. Nando's bottom left. I'm on the right. My right.
yeah, that's not how I see it.
Yeah,
I
mine's
see
the
it.
same as Blake with just us switched. Me and him switched.
I'm the bottom right. Jamon's to my left. Fernando's above me, and you're above Jamon, Blake. So yeah, that's why I was kind of.
Do you got it in the
Awkward.
grid view? Do you got it in the grid view?
I do.
Well, I see all four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way I see it. I got Fernando on this end, you on this end, and Blake always.
Yeah, it's just how I guess it shows on each one of our respective screens. It's okay. We know that he picked Blake. Blake confirmed it. So, like there we go. All right, Blake, you are tasked with the next question.
What's the date?
Huh?
The date. The date.
The date? I guess that would be
Next Sunday.
Sunday, August 3rd.
3rd. Yep.
Oh,
So you got some time.
Yeah.
all right. I'll let y'all know. I'll come up with a little something.
With the explosion of Chat GPT, you might just type something in there.
Look,
Let him give you a question.
I record in regards to Chat GPT.
You said what?
We're gonna talk about that when we off camera.
We're gonna talk about Chat GPT off camera. Is what you said?
That's what.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we love each one of y'all. We'll see y'all next time, August 3rd, when Blake has the question. We know it's gonna be a good one. So see y'all, fellas. Y'all want to say peace?
Peace out.